Hi, welcome back to Liquid Lunch. It's time for the magnetic marketing moment with your marketing magnet, Jeanette Burke. Jeanette.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
It's always great to see you, Hugh.
Now we're talking about trade show marketing today.
Yeah, we are. You know why? Because recently I was at the National Women's Show, which is run by National Event Management. And, you know, they run over 40 trade shows a year, really high-end, successful trade shows. So I think they have it down to, you know, to getting some of the things that make it right.
Okay.
And it was really cool. I went there on a media pass, sort of at the last minute. And although I like working the show and looking at it to examine it, you know, from a trade show marketing perspective, I actually had the pleasure of getting myself introduced to the two owners of the show, Mr. Cox's senior and junior.
Okay.
They're a little bit put out that there wasn't a seated area for the media.
You were put out?
Yes, because they had this big soap star, right? And I was in on a media pass.
I can't believe they didn't have a seat for you, Jeanette.
I know. So I wound up sitting with the camera guy, and then I met them, and then I got to hang out with them, and they're all this trade show people that work for them. And I said, I want to speak to your publicist. I'm here to do an interview on behalf of that channel. I need to meet Mr. Josh Morrow, who plays Nick Newman on the popular soap Young and the Restless.
Right.
Well, it turns out that his publicist / agent wasn't granting any interviews that day. But did that stop Jeanette? No. So what did I do? I wound up meeting him behind the stage afterwards, where they were getting ready to do the autographs. And I got in there and I asked him a key question. I didn't get a huge interview, but I did get a key question. I did invite him to be a guest on the show. I have my autograph from him. Oh. And the key question that I asked him, you know, all the women were screaming when he was on stage and, you know, showing himself shirtless because he's absolutely gorgeous. And, you know, he was so nice and kind and down to earth, too. And he was talking about the show. But what I wanted to know was, what's going to be the future of soap operas in the face of reality TV?
Yes.
And they're all being canceled.
That's a very good question.
Okay. So I was asking him about what's the future of soap operas. So many of them have been canceled, the longest running ones. And in the face of reality TV and talk TV, what's going to be the next stage for them? And he really liked that question. So he gave me a few minutes of his time. But like I said, I was really there to explore the whole thing about what makes a great trade show inside and out. And the whole thing about trade show marketing and what vendors can do to ensure that they have greater rate of return on their investment when entering a trade show. So as I was walking around and interviewing the masses of ladies who were there, so, you know, the lure of them getting there was really well done in terms of how the National Women's Show is marketed. Because they're very gifted at, you know, filling the space with lots of different types of vendors and great speakers and great attractions like Josh Morrow, who is Nick Newman on Y&R, like Margaret Trudeau. These are the big attractions and the names that get the people down there. But I think from what I got from interviewing, like, just people who were in attendance and asking them, what makes you come back here every year? Yeah. Was that the attractions were key. But more importantly, they wanted value for the $14. And they saw that in a couple of different ways. Some of them had the 2-for-1 coupon, which is something that vendors need to be doing, promoting the show to their own lists, offering a coupon to come in or some kind of discounted way to get in the show. Otherwise, it's $14.
Which I hate to think about paying $14 to go to a trade show. I want to get into those.
Right.
I need a value for that.
And when you get to that trade show, you don't want to feel like you're at a glorified flea market.
No.
But some people did feel that way. And so my point is, what makes these trade shows different than a day at the mall? And I guess what I'm trying to say is there has to be value to it. And from what I gathered from doing the interviewing and doing the walking of the show was that it wasn't just about the main attractions. Of course, that's the key. You know, people want to see these big stars. But they also want information of value. Yeah. They want giveaways of value that that make them feel like it was worth their while going down there. They want good sponsors. Yeah. I think that the publicity and promotion around the event really stirs the emotion to get them there. And I think great, like getting the media involved, getting your press releases out, speaking about new trends in products, services, or any kind of educational matter really helps to get the people there. And just giving them an overall experience of entertainment and enjoyment beyond just, come here and let me sell you right now, because it's not just about selling right now. It's about building the relationship and building your brand and your credibility so that even if the prospect or the guest in attendance isn't ready to purchase right now, maybe they never knew about you before and now they do.
So this is in terms of the vendors there. So if you're going to be a vendor at one of these
I'm going to get now more
trade
into
shows,
what I think the vendors need to be doing a little bit differently.
Okay.
And again, this is like for all shows, but I just kind of used the National Women's Show as sort of an exemplary model today because I was last at that show. This weekend is the big Gourmet Food and Wine Expo show. But it's always the same thing. I go to a lot of shows, and I'm working it from a marketer's eye.
Yeah.
And I also hear a lot of vendors or exhibitors who are business people participating in shows who complain, I never get the rate of return that I'm looking for on going into the show. And I always say to them, I say, did you do your homework up front?
You're talking about the vendors?
Yes.
The vendors are complaining.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they have an expectation of the show management, that the show management's going to get all the people there through their draws, through the publicity, through all the things and the sponsors that we just talked about, and the speakers.
Okay.
But in the same way that retailers are a little bit like this, that they pay into an association fee to get the mall, to get people in the mall, and the retailers think that, that's all they have to do. But the fact is, the mall isn't going to get, it might get people in the mall, but it's not going to get people in your store. And the same thing applies for the trade show. The trade show management company are going to do what they can to get the people there using the draws, using this, using that. But you've got to do something to get them in your booth.
Yeah.
And so some of the ways to really increase the ROI is to make sure you do your homework up front by putting up a trade show marketing plan and examining your expectations of it. Looking at things like, who does this show really attract? Get the demographics, get the information on it. Is this my target audience? How many people am I going to need of my own staff to make this work so that we can engage with the target audience? What are we doing for follow-up? And what are we, looking at the results? And just to break it down into 4 key things, because we don't have a lot of time today, I would say the following 4 key things can totally make or break your experience as a vendor in a show, because let's face it, this is an important marketing experience that, if worked properly, can really generate you great results.
Yeah.
By understanding that you are there to build your brand at first and foremost, and make those relationships, and that you're not there just to sell. So what I notice a lot at these trade shows is that there's too many people out there in the booth or work in their booth that are just shoving their promo material at you without engaging you first. You want to be engaging your prospects in conversations. You want to have a clear-cut pitch that is very simple about the benefits you provide, and you want to get them to your booth and make yourself stand out by providing alluring attractions, such as a money wheel, a contest, a money machine,
I like that
a
idea.
model, but not just that initially engages you from an alluring perspective, but also involves you in the process. Maybe ask them some questions, give them a chance to win something, and then they want the participants want really good prizes, but prizes need to be in a twofold way. There's the primary prize, which is something of value that projects your logo and is there like a contest or a draw, something immediate.
Yeah.
But then you need the other thing, which is the secondary prize, which is the carry on, the remember you prize, that should be a T-shirt or something that enhances your logo a little bit further. And to that, I would also like to say that when you're working a trade show, the best thing you can do is wear clothing that not only makes yourself a professional image, but clothing with a logo on it that helps to continue your brand and make you stand out. Good displays are key. I've seen a lot of displays that really look like, they were kind of thrown together, not very well organized. There's no excuse for that, because there is budgets, and there's almost anything that you can think of out there that can help you have a great display that'll fit your budget. Things like custom cabinetry type of booth displays with great lighting to lesser things that can look just as good depending on how much of a budget you want to put into this. But my thing is, if you're going to invest, make sure you have something that you can use over and over and over again, such as retractable signage, a great table that has a nice display, well thought out, lots of color, lots of tablecloth, whatever, anything to make it a little bit more, and to use something that really stands out to draw. Like, for example, when I participate in trade shows, I mean, I'm a service-based business. As a coach, it's really kind of hard to get the message across, but I do it because I use a money tree. And I put money all over it, and my goodness, that really gets people's attention. And in terms of a giveaway, like, my whole thing is about work with me to get better revenues to put you on. So I give, you know what I give away? I give toonies away, chocolate toonies. The whole thing is, I'm trying to make you money, and I can get my logo on those toonies.
Boy,
isn't that a memorable keepsake?
I want one right now.
Okay, so that's why I'm good at my job,
It's not
right?
going to last very long, Jeanette.
I know now they're all going to copy me, but I mean, that's what I do. So that's what I'm trying to say, that these are the things that make better rate of returns. Also, the signage. So many people try and cram everything on the sign. All you really need is your logo, your website, your contact info, and your tagline. Save the rest of it for your handout information. Don't overwhelm when trying to engage. Like, get the pitch right down, and don't be there just to, like, I need an immediate sale right now, because that doesn't work. That turns people off. And don't be pushing your information on people. They don't want that. Make sure that if you're going to invest in the booth to really get return, get into the attraction and the contest and those great primary and secondary prizes that are giveaways that don't cost a lot of money, and really using your signage properly, whether by easel or one of those stands that you can have made at the retractable strands you can have made for $199 or $139 at Staples, and that can put a bit of, like, a bullet point list of a few key points of what your service is about. Use the color wisely, engage the audience, and follow up, and I guarantee you'll have a lot better results. Okay,
it's almost like you just want them to set it up in a way that they're going to want to come and talk to you, and then the door is open for you to explain your product.
That's right.
Service,
it's all
and stuff
about
like
relationship building and branding, and these are two things that I can really help people with.
I just want to share a little story because I think it's great, your approach there.
Okay.
Don't make the mistake I did once and go into a trade show without. It's one thing to have something more than just selling your products, but I went to a trade show without any product to sell. And what I learned very quickly was that the people at the trade show, they want to spend money. They're there. Part of the value is that they get to buy all these groovy things that they don't otherwise get a chance to do. And if you don't have a product to sell, you're missing a big opportunity to get some return on investment right there at the trade show.
And you know what? You're absolutely right, because another key point is looking at what the attendants want. And one of them is that one of the things they want is the chance to see new products and services, maybe to purchase also at a lower rate than usual.
Yeah.
And also the whole thing about being a speaker and using that time to educate more. If you can get yourself on the agenda, get yourself on the agenda, and it helps to enhance your whole booth and image there. I could go on and on, but unfortunately we don't have enough time today, so maybe I can come back and talk about this another time, or later we can weave it in.
Sure.
Do you want to just show my picture of, I believe, Blue has it to cue, because I want to just say that the National Women's Show, which is run by National Event Management, is doing something right. If you would, like, look, we have Josh up here, and look at the mass of people there on a Saturday afternoon. It was unreal.
Most of them are women.
But it's the National Women's Show. But believe it or not, they have male vendors there too.
I bet.
They do. So that's sort of my overview for today, and I hope that people can learn from it. And also I hope that, if you're having struggles with getting a good trade show booth together, or just your marketing around it, you can call me, Jeanette Burke, your marketing magnet, and I'd be more than happy to consult and coach you on how to make your booth a lot better. I can be reached at 905 882-6893. And my website is www.yourmarketingmagnet.com. And I want to make you lead and succeed. I provide you with all the marketing help you need to lead and succeed in your marketplace. So I want to help you to do that.
All right.
Particularly if you're a woman in business.
Okay. All right. Perfect, Jeanette.
Thanks, Hugh.
Thank you. And we are going to take a little bit of a break and come back with Jordan Davis, who's here from Sun Life, and we're going to chat with Jordan. And the show is going to carry on till 2 o'clock, so we'll see you in a couple of minutes.